why do I feel like this? What's happening to me? Oh, oh, oh. Am I ready? Ain't no doubt. Am I ready? What you talking about? Am I ready?
Okay, hi everybody, and welcome back to the second podcast. I'm so excited to be doing another one, and I just want to thank everybody that tuned into the first one. It got such good feedback, and I'm so excited to be doing another one. So just thank you to anybody who's tuning in again for the second time. I have got another amazing guest on. Her name is Jen. I met Jen actually only once when I came back from Costa Rica. I was really in the mindset to meet kind of more aligned people with myself. Met a lot of people like that over there and just realised that I really need to be surrounding myself with more people that are aligned and connected with the similar things to me, similar mindsets, people that can help me grow and expand. And I was introduced to Jen from another mutual friend. So this is the lovely Jen. Jen's amazing. This is Jen. So if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here. And Steph, thank you for having me on your podcast.
You're more than welcome.
So excited.
Yeah, if you just want to say like a little bit about what you do for yourself as well.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jen. And so for the past 7 years, I have been a full-time yoga teacher, meditation, breathwork facilitator. I teach dancing on the side as well, but my main passion is yoga. It didn't always start off that way, so it's been a bit of a journey to this point. But I've kind of reached a point in my life where I'm very content and I'm happy, and yeah, I'm just loving life at the moment, to be honest.
Oh, that's so good. I think like when we met each other, we were very much like in that total high of life, weren't we? And we were just like totally able to just bounce off each other. And
Yeah.
that's what I said. Like when I met Jen, I said to our mutual friend, like I feel like I've known her forever, like forever.
Well, I was
Like,
a bit nervous because Alana, who's the mutual friend, had texted me. She was like, "You have to meet my friend Steph. You guys are going to hit it off so much." And I was like, "Okay," like because obviously I trusted Alana and I knew Alana, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." But like when I was driving there, I was like, "I'm going for dinner. Like I don't know this girl. Like I don't really know like what to expect."
yeah,
And then as soon as I seen you, literally, I think it was as soon as I seen you,
it was
it's like,
crazy, and I love that. Like that's what so this podcast is basically like on the journey of like coming home to yourself, and I think this is why Jen's such a good guest, because this is kind of what I want to speak about. It's like how the universe sort of, once you're in that sort of trajectory of being this better version of yourself, you are aligned more with people, and
yes.
life just brings you these people at the right time as well. And obviously Costa Rica, I went there with like a lot of kind of heavy stuff, and really connected with myself there, and had to leave a lot of things, behind, and let a lot of things go when I came back. And you just came into my life like straight away after that, and it just felt so good to have like a friend that's very much like-minded and on that kind of same path and things like that. So yeah, it's so good.
And it's funny because you see, like, when you start to look back over the journey, you start to see those like pivotal points. Like, everything is a choice. Everything is
Yeah,
a choice. And you can see where you've made those certain decisions that have then changed, like you say, the trajectory of your life. And
yeah,
I was at a point as well when I met you where I really had started to really work with energy and shifting limiting beliefs and blocks and things like that. And yes, I agree. Came
yeah.
up at the perfect time, my love.
I
And now
love that.
we've got each other forever.
I know, and like the work you do is exactly the same kind of work like I am doing as well, and it's just so refreshing to like meet somebody who's, maybe at one point never ever thought they could do anything like this. They never had the belief in themselves that they could do a job like this or help people or do something that aligns with them. Like, so like the term coming home to yourself, like what does that mean to you?
So I think for me, everything, I feel like you're born this, you know, it was actually funny, they used the analogy, we were talking about peeling away the layers. I was in Portugal for a retreat, and it was full of spiritual leaders and it was amazing, but we were talking about peeling the layers of onions until you're eventually that pickled onion.
I remember you said that, yeah.
And I was laughing. So it's like you're born this like pickled onion as such, and layers are put on you, whether that's from, you know, family or like social norms or cultural norms or anything like that. And so I think for me, coming back home to yourself is removing those layers and remembering how we initially came into this world. And that's effectively what I'm doing. I'm coming back to myself and I'm just removing all the stuff that's been placed upon me, and that is my journey back home to me.
Yeah. And isn't it like amazing how we actually like that's a massive part of my coaching program, like is the peeling of the layers of the labels and the names and the things people have said to us like all our lives, and those self-limiting beliefs becoming a core belief. And then once it's a core belief, like it's so hard to get rid of that. Like it's so hard. And that's exactly what I think it's like. It's finding your little true shiny self that you started off with, like when you were young, when you were so carefree. It's almost reverting back to that childlike mentality.
Yes.
You know, I think it's that as well. And living from a really genuine and authentic place. But it's so hard to know what that is when you have all of those layers just completely blindsiding you.
And that's another reason, which I never realized until recently, is community and having people like you where you can actually talk to one another about this kind of thing, because, you know, it's not exactly mainstream. So having the community there that can, you know, support you at your lowest, hold you at your highest, and, you know, link arms with one another and walk each other home as such, you know.
Yeah, that's why I thought that would be like the most fitting name for this, because like as you said, like community and finding like-minded people is so rare right now. And I just like, this is my goal in these podcasts and the work that I do. I want to walk more people home to themselves, because this feeling is so like freeing. And you know, like me, I haven't really said I'm moving to Costa Rica to a lot of people, but it's going to be out there soon, so I might as well just put it on the podcast, like so everybody knows. It's happening. So I'm literally going back there to connect with myself on a much deeper level, and because there is such a large community base for that everyone goes there almost to. I didn't even realize why I'd picked Costa Rica and this little place on the map precisely. Didn't know, but it's the people I met there were basically like, that's why people go there. It's like they work for their shadows, and it's such a beautiful community of people, like to like walk each other home almost. And that's why I'm going back there. And yeah, like that for me is just as you said, the community is like it's meeting people like that who are bringing more out of you and helping you grow and expand. Like, and as you said, you were at that retreat. Like, how was that for you? Like, what did you find out about yourself?
I found a lot about myself.
That's amazing.
Honestly, the main thing for me, like I'm self-employed, so I've been employed and I've been self-employed, and I feel like when you're employed, you sometimes need to force the connection with people that you work with, you know, like there's sometimes it's like, I'm going to be kind, we're going to be nice, but really like, are we like really like, do we really like connect at a soul level? And then you've got the self-employed factor where it's quite lonely. You don't really have anyone to kind of talk to. So I think for me, I was always very like, I can do this myself. Like, I don't really need anyone. I've got my friends, I can talk to them. It really came down to having the community factor, having people around you that can really lift you up. And by doing that, I realized that I never really felt seen. I never really felt heard. You know, I would say things that I think people wanted to hear. And I just wasn't really speaking my truth as such. So that was one thing that, and it's actually a really funny story. So we were talking about leadership and, you know, having people there that you can help guide and lead to wherever it is that they want to go. And it can be quite a scary and daunting task because, you know, that's a lot of responsibility you're taking on. And they were talking about how leadership is speaking your truth. That is leadership. Leadership is being able to hold space for someone long enough until they can hold it for themselves. And so they were talking about speaking your truth. So we were talking a lot about the throat chakra. And all of a sudden, I swear, yeah, it was that afternoon. My voice, like my throat started to get a bit funny, and I was like, what's going on here? And I started to go a little bit into that. I wear a blue beaded bracelet snapped off my wrist. For anyone that doesn't know, blue is the color for the throat chakra. I was like, what's going on here?
Crazy. Because you were voice noting me and I could hear you. I was like, are you ill? Like, are you sick? Because I could hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I didn't feel ill, but I really feel it was a purging. It was that it was finally coming to my awareness. And then I was starting to use my voice more. So it was all starting to come up. And it was the fastest release I've ever had in my life.
That gives me chills, like, because you were like, after your live, you were like, that's something I've really been working on. That's something that has maybe held you back before. And like, I'm the exact same. Like, I'll 100% admit, like, I'm terrified of public speaking. It's put me off doing so many things in my life. And it's almost like that's all came up and out for you. And like, it just shows you like how powerful, like that's honestly crazy. And if you didn't feel ill either.
Yes.
It just was like an after, you know.
It was just like a clearing. It was just clearing as it came up. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, this is good. I'm just gonna, and again, it's accepting that and surrendering to it and, you know, trusting that it's happening for a reason and just kind of learning the lessons as you go.
That's amazing. Like, and so when did you, as you were saying, like before, like when did you feel called to do the work, like to start off your journey, like to actually start healing?
So my journey has been a freaking phenomenal one, but we're still clearing. So 2010, up until 2010, loved a party, drinking loads, doing things I shouldn't be doing. Had no really, I wouldn't say self-respect, but I didn't really have any self-love. Didn't work out, didn't eat well, like just kind of the way you are when you're younger. And then 2010, there was quite a pivotal moment where something happened that I genuinely thought would never actually happen to me. And it was a life-changing decision that had to be made. And after I made the decision, I realized that I just couldn't be in the environment I was in anymore. Like I had to just take myself out of the environment and do something myself. So I ended up applying for Camp America. And it was Camp America. And it was one of those moments where I could easily have done it and I could just as easily not have done it. But I was like, there was something there that was just like, no, just do it. Like I was scared as hell, but I was like, just do it. And when I was there, I met a girl who introduced me to the book, The Secret. Yeah. So obviously that's the universe saying, yes, you're in the right place. And that is how I got introduced to the law of attraction. And that's kind of how my journey started. And then through that, I got into a network marketing business. And for anyone who doesn't know about network marketing, a lot of it is revolved around personal development. So I really indulged in personal development, which then led me to like meditation, mindfulness work, learning about how the mind works, your brain, habits, limiting beliefs, all that sort of stuff. And it was during that time I was like, I really want to learn more about meditation because this is what all the great leaders have in common. And so I thought, okay, I can do a meditation course or I can do a yoga course. And again, it was that moment, same as Camp America. I could easily have done it and easily not have, but there was something just saying like, just do it, like just do it. And did my yoga course, completely changed my life, went vegan, got healthier, became more aware, gained more self-love, was able to not necessarily control, but being able to process the anxiety and the overwhelm and the busy thoughts. And through that journey, 7 years after doing the course, I found things like Reiki, frequency medicine, energy work, healers, shamans, plant medicine. And it's just been an absolute whirlwind. But like I was saying at the start, it was those decisions. And now that I look back, they're the things, and I've only got a few things that stand out massively that completely changed the course of my life. And if I hadn't made those decisions and, kind of walked into the fear, then I genuinely have no idea where I would be.
That's honestly amazing. That I didn't even know like half of that. Honestly, but like that, right? And I think we touched on it that time we were out. We were talking a wee bit about that. So I can resonate with like parts of that with the lack of self love. I went through like a massive period of my time after like my mum and dad splitting up and having to deal with all those big emotions and not really knowing how to.
Yeah.
And my self love was zero. It was like minus. There was nothing there. So it's connecting to the wrong kinds of people and literally like just self abuse, total self destruct mode, like complete and utter. And
I was thinking about this on the walk. I was walking my dogs today, and I was thinking about this because I was thinking about the podcast. And it's one of those ones where you have a desire and you want to obviously take action on that desire, but there's something holding you back from taking the action. And you can use every excuse under the sun, but realistically, it comes down to you don't feel worthy enough to achieve that desire. And feeling unworthy comes down to a matter of self-love. If you love yourself enough and you feel worthy enough, then you will trust that that desire is coming to fruition, and then you will take the action with that. But if you don't have the self-love part, you'll never feel worthy of the desire that you want, and it will always be out there and not here, already here,
Yeah. And that's like it's like the true essence of actually coming home to yourself. It's finding out how how you to love yourself and how important you are as a person and value yourself. And actually, but it is so hard for people to actually do. I mean, I honestly, I can't even think of a defining moment where I was just like, this needs to stop. Like this, probably lockdown, as I touched in the last video, like that gave me a lot of time to reflect and think about my life and things like this far and patterns and behaviors. But yeah, it was a very like dark time as well for me, like back then, and then getting to where I am now and the work that you've put in, and it's like a complete flip, isn't it? Like as you said, like you're eating better for you, you're looking after your body, like that's coming home to yourself. Like you are realizing that your vessel and this whole body and this experience of life is, you're the driver, and it's all down to you, and you are so important. But it's people, again, as you said, like the self-limiting beliefs and all that kind of stuff it can just get people so lost. Like why do you think it's so important people try and do the deep work on themselves?
I think it's everyone's on a different journey, and some people are ready for it. And I actually touched on this in a post that I did earlier in the week. It's so uncomfortable. It's so scary. Like, see some of the questions I've asked myself, like when it comes to like relationships, like do I need to like remove myself away from this pair? It's things that you really don't want to face. And so you need to be willing to lean into that uncomfort first of all. But for me, it was more, I would look around, people are so unhappy. People are unhappy in their jobs, and it's reflected with the way that they speak and the way they move, and the stress with money, and then the stress itself causing health issues. And I would look around and I would just be like, I do not want that. Like, that's fine if people are happy where they are, they're happy where they are, and that's okay. But for me, I didn't. And I love my mum and dad dearly, but it's very much work hard for your money. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't want to have to work, X amount of years to then retire and be too old to do all the things that I wanted to do when I was
Yeah,
working.
yeah, it's that conditioning, isn't it? And that's exactly like, as you know, like what I came up a bit against with when when I did start to make these massive decisions for myself and actually look at my life and go, right, I'm authentically living for what I want now, and I can actually see clear as day what I want and what I need from life, and I'm going to go and get it because no one else is going to do it for me. And it is about being brave and taking those risks because we literally, this is our life. It's short, and like, again, like as you were saying about work and stuff, and yeah, you've got your connections there, and but I crave like deep soul connections with people. Like, I crave that so much more now, and as I get older, that's much more important to me. And as you said, like, you love your mum and dad dearly, but like when I said I was moving to Costa Rica, they were just like, no, like, why would you do this? Like, why? You want to buy a house, you want to do this, you want to do that, and I'm like, no, you want me to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
And it's
Like, I don't.
also like understanding that they were taught that.
Yeah, no, that's
So it's no
it.
one, it's not good or bad, it's no one's fault, but it's waking up and actually asking yourself the hard questions like, am I happy? Am I truly, and not just in one aspect of life, it's that whole
Yeah,
the wheel thing where it's like your finances, business,
yeah.
relationships, all that kind of stuff. Like, are you happy in every single part of your life? And we're so conditioned to think that we can't have it all. And we
Mhm.
can. Like, we 100% can. I mean, do you think that years ago someone would say, right, you have a device that you can actually call
Yeah.
somebody, you can go on the internet, like before the internet existed, people would think you were absolutely mad.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Planes, like before the Watt Brothers, like actually, I say that, but I'm like, it was the Watt Brothers that thingy the planes, wasn't it? But things like everything was impossible. I'm using
Yep.
inverted commas in case this is just an audio, but um, everything was impossible until it was possible. So realistically, if you want to have it all, you can have it all. But it really is, again, asking yourself the hard questions, noticing what comes up. In fact, there was a really fun thing my mentor Kim did with us, and it
Mhm.
was through finances, but it kind of works with anything.
Okay.
She's saying to you, right, imagine yourself. So obviously everyone's different. So £100 to someone might be pennies, it might be a lot of money.
Mhm.
But if you say to yourself, right, I'm gonna earn £100 this week, like how does that feel in your body? And actually feel it in your body. Like, does it feel quite nice? Are you like, okay, like I can do that, that's manageable. And then ask yourself, okay, I am going to earn £100,000 this week, and notice what comes up. And
Mm.
when you tap into the larger amount, everything that comes up there, oh no, I couldn't do that. Oh, how on earth would I manage that? What would I need to do that? All of the limiting beliefs start to surface.
Mhm.
But people think they're just thoughts, but they're not. It's information. Your body is giving you information of what is stored deep down, and it's allowing them to surface and then looking them straight in the eye. Why do you feel you can't make £100,000 in a week? You
So it's like a
know?
little trigger almost
Yeah,
to
it's
work
like, well,
with.
why can't you? There's people that do it, so why can't you? And then you'll say, well, because like I'd have to have time, so maybe time's an issue for you. Why is time an issue? Or maybe it's, oh, I've never made £100,000 in a week, so it comes down to worthiness. Okay, so why do you feel you're not worthy to do that?
Yeah.
So it's a really good fun exercise if anyone wants to
Yeah,
try.
that's amazing. No, that's awesome. And as well, like on your journey of like coming home to yourself, like I'm obviously doing this for me because you can't do it for anyone else. But it's just amazing that as I'm doing this, and obviously for my kind of coaching business as well, it's so beautiful. I've heard so many people come to me and be like, you have inspired me to actually wake up and want to do better for me, or take this risk, or do this, or like one of my friends had actually said to me, like, when you said you'd booked that, I went and booked like a crazy holiday on the other side of the world as well to try and find my, like, to try and connect with themselves as well and push themselves. And I'm like, that is honestly, like, that means the whole world to me. Like, that someday even one person is taking me doing this and rubbing off on them, and wanting them to have a better experience for themselves. Like, that is absolutely amazing.
I had that conversation with someone in Portugal, and that's exactly what she said. She was like, even if you can just help one person, if one person gets something from like every podcast, if one person resonates with the podcast, then you've kind of done what you came to do. Because like they say, change the world one person at a time, starting with yourself, obviously. Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson, one of my favorites.
I love that. And that's it. It's all about being filled up for you so that you can pour into other people and be that example for other people and support them. And it's just, once you're in, as again, like, it must have been amazing on that trip, just being surrounded by people like that, so energetic. And
well, it's kind of like what you were like with Costa Rica, you're just around people who are,
it's so intoxicating, amazing.
I think as well, like, it's people that are connected to themselves.
1,000,000%.
So they're aware of what I have reflected on, not actually said publicly, but is a lot of people I come in contact with anyway struggle to deal with emotion. And we've been told through society that emotion isn't good. If someone's angry, oh, calm down. Why are you so angry? Or someone's sad, oh, don't cry. Why are you crying? It's fine.
Don't do that.
So we're told, oh, you don't have to do that. When actually emotions are energy in motion, and the energy needs to be released. So the emotion is coming up for a reason. But instead of, getting angry and then being angry for 5 days, connect with yourself and be okay, where's this anger coming from? Where am I feeling it in my body? And understanding more about, okay, why is it coming up? So that you can then release that core block. Like a lot of people, I don't know, say you were bullied. I remember, I will always remember this, right? And I swear a lot of my blocks probably come from this. But I remember I was in I must have been in primary 1. And I was just being an annoying kid, like running about, just being a pain in the arse. And this boy who was in primary 2 turned around to me and said, can I swear on this podcast?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it was like that. It was like, back off. So I went home to my mum and I told my mum to fuck off. I was in primary 1. And my mum was like, where did you hear that? And it was obviously, it was a bad thing. A boy, like, I had sworn and realised it was really bad. So I think I kind of associated that with that. So, but okay, I might have felt angry, but deep down I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I was sad. And so up until recently, I hadn't really dealt with that. Like, I remember speaking to one of my mentors and that coming up, and I was like, I wonder why that came up. But it came up because I was holding on, not necessarily to the memory of the event. I was holding on to the emotion that was attached to that event. So then, because I was holding on to this emotion, I was magnetizing more of that to me. So I would receive different people, different situations, all bring up the same emotion, which is embarrassment and sadness.
Because you hadn't processed it.
Yeah, so it was processing the emotion instead of processing the memory. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because the memory is, that can, obviously it's gone now, but the emotion sticks in your body. It goes, it's in there. It becomes, I don't know, you can, as I was saying, like before, you can literally become sick from your trauma and your stress. Like, it goes into your tissue, and that's just, when I was like in a really bad place, like a few years ago, like my body was done. Like I was ill so much from work. Like I was threatened with like losing my job constantly because I was constantly ill. Didn't know what was wrong. I was just ill. My hair all fell out. It was awful. Like, and then that's when I started really putting into motion, like finding myself and doing this deep work. And I literally, like without a doctor, like healed myself, which is mental, without medicine or nothing. Like, just shows like what it does to your body.
I know it's your body. And that's another thing I learned last week was your body is just, it's so intelligent. It's so intelligent. Like you cannot copy the human body. Like I mean, they only know certain parts of the brain. Do you know what I mean? We've been going for bad science and doctors
I
and
know.
medicine for years. Like it's a very intelligent piece of machinery, and it's understanding that your body is constantly giving you feedback. So when you have a wee ache or pain, listen to it. Don't ignore it. And just like when you're feeling things like in your gut, when you get like butterflies, like it's telling you something. Okay, what is this emotion? Where am I feeling it in my body?
Yes.
Where have I felt this before?
Mhm.
And connecting all the dots. And also my main thing for people is just be kind to yourself. Just be kind. Like there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong. You're going to make decisions, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to do stupid things,
Yeah.
and that is okay because we're human and
Yeah.
we're here to have a human experience.
Yeah, totally.
But it's also then connecting with yourself and finding those happy moments, tuning into what's happening in your head. I mean, 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day we have.
I know.
You
I
barely
know.
25,
I,
and it's those thoughts that are then creating your reality.
yes.
So
Yeah.
it really
What
is
is so
awareness. And I teach
Yeah.
it in yoga. I'm like,
That's
forget
amazing.
trying to copy me or copy the person next to you. Be aware of what is going on in your body intuitively. Know, right, okay, this position doesn't feel right. Okay, I'm going to adjust it slightly. Oh, that feels better.
Yeah,
Cool, I'll stay here.
Yeah, listen to your body, and and I actually was watching a podcast like last week, I think, and a woman said something so profound on it, and I now base all decisions on asking myself this before I make the actual end result. And she said, before you do something, ask your body, because this will be straight up intuition. Does what I'm about to do feel like expansion or a contraction?
I do that all the time.
No, wait, I am mind blown by that. I am like, why have I never heard this? Because that is literally, before you've even got a chance to think about it, a thought to even come into your head, your body has decided for you, and that is your gut talking. And
So
that's
what
what we should do.
happens? Somebody actually told me this as well last week. I swear to God, so much happened last week. But
Oh my God, that's so good.
you basically get the downloads. You get the downloads into your body. So universal downloads, codes, signs, whatever you want to ask for. You get the downloads into the body, and then the mind translates. So your decision, the universal guidance has come through into your body. You'll feel it first, and then your mind starts to translate that. So, like you say, as soon as something comes in, you're either going to feel expanded, and for those that don't really get the language around that, you'll feel your chest opening more, your shoulders will relax down, you'll feel a bit more softer, or your body will contract and your shoulders will come forward and your chest will tighten. And there's times, guys, where we expand when we don't want to expand. There's times we contract when we don't want to contract, but it's receiving the guidance,
Yeah.
listening to it, trusting it, which is for me the hardest part that I've really had to work on, and then taking action from there.
Oh, that you've explained that absolutely beautifully, like honestly. And that's it. And like sometimes when you are expanding, when it does feel scary, like the best advice ever is just do it scared. Just do it scared. Like just do it.
Okay.
You have no idea what's on the other side of that. Your body's like telling you. And another thing, like your brain can't decipher the difference between fear and excitement. It's the label that you actually place on it. The same signal, which I just find fascinating.
A really cool story about that. So I was watching I'm sure it was Bruce, I swear it was Tony Robbins and Bruce Springsteen, but I've looked this up numerous times and I still can't find it right, but I listened to it somewhere. But he was talking, so whoever it was, the interviewer, was talking to two different people, and he spoke to somebody, I think it was Bruce Springsteen. They were saying, how do you feel when you go on stage? And he says, well, my palms start sweating, my heart starts racing, I start to like contract, like tighten up a little bit, I feel like I need to like move about, shake my body. He's like, I just get really, really excited. And then he spoke to someone else and he was saying, okay, how do you feel? And they explained the exact same thing. Sweaty palms, feeling like a little bit tight, feeling he had to move, blah, blah, blah. But he described it as anxiety.
Oh my God, it's so nuts.
Yeah, so it's the same
Honestly.
physical situations, it's the same chemicals moving through your body. It's adrenaline, it's cortisol, but people associate it as excitement. Some people associate it with anxiety.
That is honestly wild. And that is like my favorite part of like being able to coach somebody on mindset, because a lot of people don't know this. And see, even it's just the knowing and actually having that information, and it's literally science backed, it's like real, like that just is game changing, like actual crazy. Just having the facts. Absolutely mad.
I
But
know.
thank you, Jen. You've given me the most beautiful podcast ever, ever, ever.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was honestly amazing. So good and so full of information, like amazing. Where can people find you for your services?
Ew, for my services. Okay, so I do a lot of stuff, to be honest, but get me on, probably the best place is Instagram. So I'll even, Steph, give you, or you've got my Instagram handle, you can put it in like the description or whatever. But it's just, I'm going to check, just in case I'm wrong. Jen.Heb.
I was like, I'm sure I know that. I've looked at your page so many times.
I know, but I'm like, yeah, Jen.Heb or Jen Hebington, which Steph will put the spelling for my surname and stuff. But you'll get me there. I do lots of stuff. I do yoga face-to-face, online, meditations. I have an online platform for subscriptions. I work with frequency medicine. I also do some coaching. So lots happening. So hit me up if you resonate.
Love that. And I definitely need to get some of your frequency medicine from you. We need to do that soon. I think that's
we do. Okay, we'll do that when we do our live. Got lots plans.
Lots planned. Busy bees. Amazing.
I cannot thank you enough for having me on, and thank you to everyone who's listening as well for spending the last, I don't even know, is it half an hour, 40 minutes? Spending however long it has been with us. I really appreciate it. Time is a very precious thing, so thank you so much.
Yes, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I hope you take something away from this today. But thank you, Jen, and we will see you next time, and I'll have another guest on. So thank you, Jen, and have the best day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.